know, it's funny because this morning Kip was talking about the lift and there was a tree down, and I said, well, geez, that's so timely. We ordered that so we could talk about forestry. And joining us this morning from Fremont Ridge Forestry is Freeman Ridge Forestry, Bob Carlton, and from American Forest Management, Bill Haslam, and he is a forester, and Billy Gilmore, who is a man that wears many hats, and you are on the forestry committee.
I am.
Yes,
Yep.
And also he is a code enforcement officer here in Carrabassett Valley. Welcome to all of you, and long-time Carrabassett Valley Kingfield resident. We are here to. Yesterday we had the opportunity to go out at the outdoor center, and you guys did a great job answering some questions that you didn't even know you had, and it was about forestry. And I know that some people probably don't think a great deal about that, but a lot of thought goes into what you do and where you cut. It's not just out there going out and cutting a tree, is it? It's about managing it. Bob, I'll start with you. Just want to talk a little bit about one of the points that you made yesterday, that forestry management is something that you have to, it's kind of when do you cut and when do you not cut? Let's start with that.
Sure. A lot of planning goes into a harvest long before the piece of equipment or chainsaw hits the ground. And in the case of the town lot here, there's a management plan that was put in place long before any tree was cut. AFM, we chose, the forestry committee in the town developed a criteria. We interviewed potential forest managers, and AFM came to the top. Did a great forest management plan, so it encompasses the whole lot. We're not just thinking about it that year, that what are we going to cut that year. It's a very comprehensive, in-depth, full inventory. So that happens long before the first tree is ever cut.
Right. Bill, when is it wrong to cut a tree? Or what can happen if you cut a tree wrong?
A lot of things could happen. You're not achieving your goal is the main problem there. If you don't have a set of objectives that you know about, you don't know what you're doing. You're really aimless. You really need to decide what you want from your land and then decide when it's right to cut.
Is our forest in that area that we looked at yesterday healthy?
It's generally healthy. There are some older trees that are on the decline. There are some areas that have regeneration, young trees that might not be desirable for a healthy forest going forward. So those are the things we look at. We look for those things and accentuate them as priorities for management.
If a tree is dead, do you just cut it automatically?
No, there's no need. I tell the loggers that are working for me, if it's a safety issue for you operating there, then you remove it, and that's during a timber harvest. But the same goes for the town lot. It's full of trails. It's an issue for users. So the dead trees are wildlife habitat.
Right.
So if you can keep them, keep them. If they're a safety hazard, then you want to deal with them.
Right. And Billy, this question directed towards you. As being part of that committee, there's careful planning that goes on, and the use of the property was a point that you brought up. That outdoor center, maybe you can tell us a little bit about it. It's, as you said, it's going to be there for perpetuity, and that changes the way that you look at those trees, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and it should. And to go back in time a little bit, back before Carrabassett Valley even was an organized community, Sugarloaf had worked out a deal with the Bureau of Public Lands to lease that 1,207 acres of real estate.